Local protesters say they were, quote, ambushed by police last night during a march for Dana Fletcher in downtown Huntsville. 2 were arrested, and some of those moments caught on camera. Our Kenesha Dees spoke to protesters and the police about what they say happened.
I'm here on Clinton Avenue and Sprague Street, where members of the underground protest say they were ending their march last night. They say that's when police officers ambushed them. 2 arrested.
Man, what did I do? Cuff him up. What did I do? Turn over.
As we were coming down Sprague Street, all of a sudden a bunch of police officers pulled up out of nowhere, and it was pretty chaotic.
Blake ENFINGER, one of the 2 protesters now free after being arrested last night, says this happened after, quote, 2 folks were following their group that had guns. ENFINGER says they were coming down Sprague Street and were going to disperse after going through Big Spring Park.
Just all of a sudden got snatched from behind. Reflexively, I kind of tried to jerk away, and next thing you know, I got full-on body slammed to the pavement, and I didn't run anywhere.
ENFINGER and the other protester were charged with disorderly conduct and obstructing governmental operations. Police say they had ran away.
I don't know why all of a sudden they decided an ambush was appropriate, where they instigate us into running and then immediately tackle us without giving us a chance to regroup or anything.
John O'Brien was also at the protest but was not arrested. He says there was no warning.
No call to disperse, and there really wasn't too much of a reason to be doing all that. We were heading out.
WZDX News reached out to the Huntsville Police Department, who says, quote, most of the crowd had been warned on multiple occasions not to obstruct roadways, including the individual that appeared to be in charge of the event. ENFINGER says the group had marched for about an hour. We asked why police arrested protesters toward the end of the march. Huntsville PD says, quote, last night we had a shooting and homicide that had officers tied up. We were unable to get officers there to address the problem until we dealt with that scene. ENFINGER says the group hadn't had any run-ins with police before, and he'd also like to see their body cam video from Friday night.
I know for a fact there was body camera footage on my, arrest, and I would love to see it. I want to see, what happened exactly, because it was a chaotic situation.
ENFINGER says he's scheduled for court Monday morning, putting the Valley first. Kenesha Dees, WZDX News.